Let me tell you something powerful right now. Love is not always spoken in words. It's revealed in actions, in subtle shifts, in unspoken signals that echo louder than "I love you" ever could, especially when we're talking about someone with an avoidant attachment style. Avoidants don't always say what they feel. They don't always chase. They don't always confess. But when love is still alive in their heart, they cannot hide it completely. Their silence will betray them. Their actions, no matter how guarded, will expose the truth. And if you're sitting here wondering, do they still care? Do they still love me even if they're not saying it? I'm here to tell you, the answer lies in what they do when they think you're not looking, when their mask slips, when their defenses crack open for just a moment. Today, I'm going to give you 7 unshakable signs, 7 behaviors that scream "I still love you," even if the avoidant never says a word. They stay connected, even in the smallest of ways. You see, when an avoidant still loves you, they may never come out and say, "I miss you," but they'll show you in these subtle, almost hidden behaviors that most people overlook. They'll keep a quiet thread of connection alive, because deep down they can't bear the thought of being completely cut off from you. It might look like a simple text out of the blue, a quick, "Hey, how are you?" That seems casual on the surface. But don't dismiss it. That message isn't about checking the weather in your life. It's about checking the temperature of your bond. An avoidant who still has feelings will maintain proximity. They may scroll through your social media and like an old photo, or watch your stories just to see what's going on in your world. They won't flood you with compliments or chase after you the way a more secure person might, but they'll leave breadcrumbs. They'll find reasons to keep themselves in your orbit, whether it's sending a meme that reminded them of you, asking about something they know matters to you, or even pretending to accidentally bump into you in a shared space. These aren't random acts. They're the avoidance version of saying, "I still need a connection with you, but I can't expose myself fully." And here's the truth, love has a funny way of leaking through even the strongest walls. An avoidant will build distance, they'll put up barriers, they'll act like they're fine without you. But if their heart is still tied to yours, they won't fully disappear. That lingering presence, those tiny check-ins, those coincidences that aren't really coincidences, that's love refusing to be silenced. It's their fear of vulnerability colliding with their inability to let you go. Think about it. If they didn't care, you'd see nothing. No texts, no interactions, no subtle reminders that they're still there. But the fact that they hold onto those small threads tells you more than words ever could. It's their way of keeping the door cracked without having to walk through it. They want to feel you near, even if they can't admit they need you close. So when you notice these quiet gestures, don't underestimate them. They're not meaningless. They're evidence that somewhere beneath the surface, love is still alive, expressing itself in whispers instead of declarations. And those whispers often tell the truth louder than the most dramatic confessions ever could. They remember the details that matter. And let me tell you something, this is one of the clearest signals that an avoidant still loves you, even if their mouth stays shut. Avoidants are not careless people. They're not the type to collect every random fact about everyone. But when their heart is attached, when love is quietly burning in the background, they hold onto the little things you've shared, almost like treasures locked away where no one else can see. Think about it. They might not text you every day or pour out their feelings in long messages, but suddenly they bring up something you mentioned weeks, even months ago. The way you like your coffee, the name of your childhood pet, that dream destination you once said you wanted to visit. To anyone else, those details might seem unimportant, but to them, they're markers, reminders of connection, proof that your presence has left an imprint they can't erase. This is where love breaks through their defenses. Avoidants protect themselves by staying in control, by pulling back when intimacy feels overwhelming. Yet, when they remember you in such sharp detail, it shows that no matter how hard they try to detach, they're still emotionally invested. Why? Because the mind doesn't cling to details that don't matter. The heart only remembers what it values. And here's the powerful part. Sometimes they won't even realize they're doing it. You'll be in a conversation and they'll casually say, "Didn't you mention your sister had an interview this week?" Or, I remember you said you hate that restaurant. It may come across as a small observation, but underneath it is something massive. They've been paying attention, quietly storing pieces of you inside them. If they didn't care, those details would slide right past them and disappear. It's like this: when love is alive, your words don't just pass through their ears, they settle deep into their memory. They replay them, they hold them, they let those little things keep them tethered to you when everything else in them is screaming to keep distance. That's the paradox of the avoidant. They'll act like they're not invested, but their memory betrays them. Because love, when it's real, always leaks out in the way someone remembers you. So if you ever wonder whether an avoidant still has love for you, pay attention to what they remember. The things you thought they barely noticed, they did. And those fragments of memory are their unspoken way of saying, you still matter to me. They create space, but they don't let go. This is one of the most confusing behaviors you'll ever face with an avoidant who still loves you. On the surface, it looks like they're pulling away, like they're disconnecting, like the bond no longer matters. And that can shake you to your core, because your mind tells you, if they cared, wouldn't they want to be close? But with an avoidant, closeness is complicated. Their nervous system craves love and fears it at the same time. So what do? They build space, but they keep a tether to you. They pull back, but never all the way. They push, but they don't truly release. This is their paradox. Love terrifies them because love means vulnerability. Vulnerability means the risk of being abandoned, rejected, or engulfed. So they lean into what feels safe: distance. But here's the thing: if they didn't care, if their feelings were gone, that space wouldn't be a pullback. It would be a goodbye. They wouldn't just create room. They would close the door and walk away. The fact that they maintain a link, even while putting space between you, is proof that you still matter. Look closely and you'll see it. They may not text you every day, but when too much silence passes, they break it with something small. They may decline an invitation to hang out, but then follow up later just to check in. They may not want to dive deep into an emotional talk, but they'll leave little trails, signals that say, I'm still here. I just need to breathe. This isn't detachment, it's self-protection. And their unwillingness to fully disconnect is love fighting through their fear. Think of it like a dance. They step back, then step forward. They lean out, then lean in. And to you, it might feel inconsistent, even exhausting. But the truth is, their heart is still in it. Otherwise, there would be no stepping forward at all. That return, that refusal to cut the cord completely, that constant circling back into your orbit, that's not accident. That's attachment. That's love hiding behind the mask of avoidance. And here's what you need to remember: when an avoidant creates space but doesn't walk away, it means you are not someone they can release. The connection is too strong. The bond is too meaningful. Their silence, their retreat, their distance, none of it equals indifference. It's simply their way of holding on to you without drowning in the weight of their own emotions. And that quiet hold, that invisible thread that never snaps, is one of the clearest, loudest signals that they still love you. They show up when it counts. This is one of the most undeniable signs that an avoidant still loves you, even when they're trying to hide it behind distance or detachment. You see, avoidants may not always be there for the little, everyday things. They may avoid long phone calls, deep emotional conversations, or constant contact. But when life hits hard, when you're struggling, when you're in pain, when you need someone by your side, they appear. And they don't do it because they feel obligated. They do it because their love for you overpowers their fear in those critical moments. Think about that for a second. If someone truly didn't care, your struggles wouldn't move them. Your pain wouldn't stir anything inside of them. They would stay away, keep their distance, and convince themselves it wasn't their problem. But when an avoidant still has love for you, they can't sit still knowing you're hurting. They may not say it in words, but their actions speak. I can't let you face this alone. Maybe it looks like them driving across town late at night when your car breaks down. Maybe it's them showing up at the hospital when you didn't even tell them you were there, because somehow they found out and couldn't ignore it. Maybe it's simply them checking in more often when they sense you're going through something heavy. These are not small gestures. For someone who fears closeness, Showing up in your vulnerable moments is monumental. It means they care enough to push past their own discomfort to be there for you. And here's what's so powerful. They don't even always realize how much they reveal in those moments. Their instinct to protect themselves usually keeps them distant, but love has a way of overriding instinct when the stakes are high. That's when the mask slips. That's when their true feelings break through the surface. That's when you see the truth. No matter how avoidant they seem, they can't turn their back when it really matters. It's almost as if crisis strips away their defenses. In those raw, unplanned moments, they can't hide behind logic, excuses, or fear. Love pushes them into action. And that action is louder than any "I love you" they might struggle to say. So when you look back and see those times they stepped in, those times they showed up when the world was heavy on your shoulders, recognize it for what it is. It's not coincidence. It's not convenience. It's not obligation. It's love breaking through in the only way they know how, by showing up when you need them most. Their jealousy slips through. You see, avoidants will do everything in their power to look calm, collected, and unaffected. They want you to believe that nothing rattles them, that they can walk away without a second thought. But love doesn't play by those rules. Love will always leak out, even when they try to bury it. And one of the clearest cracks in their armor is jealousy. They may not explode, they may not admit it out loud, but you'll notice subtle signs that reveal what they're trying so hard to hide. Maybe their tone changes when you mention another person's name. Maybe they suddenly go quiet when you talk about spending time with someone else. Maybe they casually throw in a sarcastic comment, pretending it's just a joke, when in reality it's their way of testing the waters. That's jealousy, low-key, understated, but undeniable. If they didn't care, your life and your interactions with others wouldn't spark anything in them. But the moment they feel competition, the moment they sense the possibility of losing their place in your world, their mask slips. And here's the thing, avoidants aren't naturally comfortable with emotions like jealousy. For them, it's risky because showing it means revealing vulnerability. So they try to disguise it. They'll act indifferent, but then ask you oddly specific questions. They'll say, "Oh, that's nice," but their body language betrays them. Their eyes, their energy, the subtle shift in their behavior, it gives them away. That is their unspoken confession tape. "I don't want to lose you." This is where you have to understand the depth of it. An avoidant might push you away, but if you move too close to someone else, suddenly they feel the gravity of what's at stake. That jealousy isn't about control, it's about attachment. It's proof that, underneath their distance, they still see you as theirs. They still value the bond. They still care deeply, even if they're terrified to admit it. Think about it. If someone is truly done, if they're emotionally disconnected, they won't react to your choices. They won't care who you spend time with. They won't flinch when another person enters the picture. But an avoidant in love can't fake that level of indifference. They may not chase you directly, but that flicker of jealousy is their heart screaming louder than their silence. So the next time you see their calm mask crack, the next time you notice that little edge in their voice or that sudden quiet when someone else's name comes up, recognize it for what it is. That's not detachment. That's love, raw, unspoken, and breaking through despite their best efforts to keep it hidden. They open windows, not doors. And what I mean by that is simple. An avoidant in love won't swing wide the gates of their heart because that feels far too dangerous. Full vulnerability terrifies them. Letting someone see the deepest corners of their soul feels like standing unarmed on a battlefield. So instead, they crack a window. They give you glimpses. They let the light peek through. And those glimpses are everything because for them, opening even a little is a monumental act of trust. It might look like them sharing a story from their past they've never told anyone. It could be them admitting a fear, a weakness, or a dream they usually keep locked away. Sometimes it's in their body language, relaxing just a little more around you, letting their guard drop in a way they don't with others. These are not random acts. These are calculated risks. And for someone with an avoidant attachment, risking vulnerability is one of the clearest signs of love you will ever see. Think about it. Avoidants build walls to protect themselves. They don't want to be hurt, abandoned, or controlled. But love pushes them to take small, courageous steps toward intimacy. They may not dive all the way in, but they dip their toe in the water, saying, "Here, this is a piece of me I don't usually share." If they didn't love you, there would be no window. The walls would stay sealed, the fortress locked tight. The fact that they let you see even a fraction of their inner world means you're not just another person in their life. You're someone who matters. And here's the beauty of it: those windows are where the truth shines through. In those moments of rare openness, you see who they really are. You see their humanity, their struggles, their hopes. You see the person beneath the armor, and they only allow that with someone who has touched them deeply enough to make the risk feel worth it. What makes this so powerful is that they won't announce it. They won't say, "I'm being vulnerable with you." They'll simply let it happen, quietly, carefully, cautiously. But when it does, it's monumental. It means you've reached a level of intimacy they don't give to anyone else. That cracked window is their silent way of saying, "I trust you, I need you, I love you." So don't underestimate those small moments of openness. For an avoidant, they're not small at all. They're massive. They're milestones. They're proof that love is stronger than fear and that you mean more to them than the walls they've built to feel safe. They circle back again and again. This is perhaps the most revealing sign of all, and yet it's the one most people misunderstand. When you're dealing with an avoidant, you will experience push and pull. They will withdraw, they will distance, they will create silence that can feel endless. But here's the truth you need to hold on to: if love is still alive, they won't stay gone. They will return. And that return is not random. It's their heart overriding their fear. It might come as a sudden text after weeks of no contact. It might be them showing up in your life again, acting casual, pretending it's no big deal. It might even be a simple gesture, liking a post, checking in, asking something that sounds surface level but is really their way of reconnecting. To you, it may feel confusing. To them, it feels safer than admitting, "I missed you." But make no mistake, circling back is one of the clearest signs they can't let go. Think about it. If they didn't love you, if they were truly done, there would be no return. They wouldn't need to check your world. They wouldn't feel the pull to re-enter your orbit. But love has gravity. It keeps tugging them back, no matter how far they try to run. They may tell themselves they're fine without you. They may even try to prove it. But eventually, something inside them aches for the connection again. That ache is love refusing to be buried. And it's not just about convenience. Avoidants don't circle back to everyone. They don't waste their energy on people who don't matter to them. The fact that they return to you again and again means the bond is real. It means you are the exception. It means that despite all their defenses, despite all their attempts to protect themselves, you've become someone they cannot erase. Here's the powerful part: every return, no matter how small, is a silent confession. It's them saying, "I can't stay away." They may package it in casual words, in neutral gestures, in a tone that tries to downplay what they feel. But the very act of returning tells you everything you need to know. Love is still alive, and it's pulling them back toward you. So when you see that pattern, distance followed by return, recognize it for what it is. It's not weakness. It's not confusion. It's love wrestling with fear, and love winning just enough to bring them back into your world. And that cycle, that return, is one of the clearest, loudest signals that they still love you, even if they'll never say it out loud. Love is not always shouted from rooftops. Sometimes it whispers in the silence. With avoidance, that whisper is all you get: subtle actions, hidden signals, unspoken truths. But if you've been paying attention, you've seen it. The little ways they stay connected, the memories they carry, the distance they create but never fully sustain, the moments they show up when it matters most, the jealousy they can't quite mask, the rare windows they open into their inner world, and the way they keep circling back no matter how many times they retreat. Those are not accidents. Those are not coincidences. Those are love's fingerprints stamped on their every move, even when their lips stay sealed. The truth is, love in the heart of an avoidant is both complicated and simple. Complicated because it doesn't look like the movies. It doesn't come wrapped in daily declarations or constant pursuit. Simple because at its core, it's the same as anyone else's love: a longing for connection, a deep pull toward the person who matters most. It just shows up differently. It hides behind walls. It sneaks through cracks. It reveals itself in tiny bursts instead of endless floods. But make no mistake, it's still love, just dressed in armor. What you need to remember is that these behaviors are not scraps. They are not less than. For an avoidant, these are monumental. Every time they check in, every time they remember a detail, every time they push through their fear to show up or to share a piece of themselves, that's love in its bravest form. Because for them, vulnerability is war. And if they're willing to risk it, even in small doses, it means you've reached a place inside of them most people never get to touch. That's not weakness. That's significance. That's impact. It's easy to get discouraged when you don't hear the words you long for. When "I love you" doesn't roll off their tongue, when affection doesn't pour out effortlessly, it can make you question everything. But I want you to see beyond the surface. I want you to look at the language of their actions. Because actions, especially from an avoidant, are the truest reflection of what's happening inside. Words can be rehearsed, words can be faked, but actions, those are instinct, and instinct doesn't lie. So if you've recognized these patterns, take heart. You're not imagining it, you're not making it up. Love is still alive, even if it's quiet, even if it's clumsy, even if it's hidden beneath layers of fear. The avoidant may not shout it, but their behaviors are telling you loud and clear, you matter. I still care. I still love you. And sometimes that unspoken love is even more powerful than words because it's love that fought through fear to reach you. At the end of the day, love from an avoidant isn't about grand gestures. It's about persistence. It's about the fact that, despite their instinct to run, they can't fully leave. Despite their walls, they can't shut you out completely. Despite their silence, they can't silence their heart. And that is the message I want you to carry with you. Stop waiting for words that may never come and start seeing the truth in the actions that never stop. Because when an avoidant still loves you, their actions, quiet, subtle, and persistent, are love's unshakable proof. Thank you so much for watching and for sharing this moment with me. Your support, your time, and your energy mean more than words can capture. If this message spoke to you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It helps this community grow and reach even more hearts that need it. Remember, every step you take toward understanding yourself and your relationships is a step toward freedom and love. Keep showing up for yourself, keep leaning into growth, and never forget, you are worth the love you desire. Until next time, take care of yourself, stay strong, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.